In this video, you're going to see me train like a professional combat athlete. You've got a mic, you could talk. It's all right, come here, man, come here. Which I've never done before. So I had to track down Australia's best strength conditioning coach for combat athletes, and I found Stephen Sayoun.
Yeah.
He's not got a YouTube channel, all right?
Hi, I'm Stephen Sayoun, and today I'm going to be taking James Smith through a full body strength and conditioning session for combat sports.
I have trained before. I'm a personal trainer of 10 years. However, I just do the squat, bench, the deadlift. And I know what you're thinking. Surely this is a professional athlete, right? Well, as I'm about to find out, we haven't planned any of this. There are quite a few fundamental movements that I'm not incorporating into my training. Shall I tell them some more?
We're going to take James through some rotation, some plyometrics, and all the key resilience sites that you need to be a better grappler or combat athlete. He's actually a really good grappler. All jokes aside, James is a legit grappler.
But with that in mind as well, imagine what I could potentially be like if I did a proper S&C program. I'm not nervous. Do I look nervous? Do I look nervous? I mean, everyone's probably thinking, this guy looks like he's ready. Have you seen his ears? Show him the ears. If any coach tries coaching you in combat sport and doesn't have them ears, you don't listen to a thing they say. Stay tuned to the end, because at the end, Stephen's going to be telling us the 3 biggest mistakes he spots athletes making in the gym when they train.
What we're going to do is prime his hips and his upper body so that he's ready to take on the full body strength and conditioning session. So James is going to come down into a wall sit. He's going to walk his feet out so his shins are vertical. And then from here, we're going to place the ball between the knees and then start creeping the feet out into internal rotation. So I'm going to get James to walk his feet out slightly wider. Yep. Now, as you can see, the shin angle and the knee is inside the ankle. This is going to help create hip internal rotation, and James is going to squeeze that for 30 seconds.
Do we have to do 30 seconds? Or we could do like a smart edit here, you know?
Yeah, hands off the knees.
We could just like speed it up and put the time over.
That's it. So that's about 10 seconds down. We've got about 20 seconds to go.
Do you find like groin gains are good for getting girls?
So I'm using the wall as a guide to push off, and then from here I'm going to drive and rotate across that way.
So you're a big fan of creating strength through ranges rather than just getting into ranges?
Correct.
Because a lot of the new kind of thoughts on mobility stem around having strength at the end point rather than just getting to the end point. So some people are like, oh, sit in a squat for an hour and you'll become more mobile, but people like now, why don't you resistance train into a squat, get strong into a squat?
Yeah. Essentially, you need to load the tissues at end ranges to create the adaptation. So what we're doing here is pulling ourselves into the stretch, and the band adds more resistance to create more rotation through the spine. So you're going to do 10 reps per side with a 2-second hold.
I've never done this exercise before in my life.
A lot of guys will cheat this exercise without using a yoga block, and their knee will come out into external rotation.
Which means the thoracic is extending less.
Correct. Well, it's not rotating, not getting the correct rotation.
So as long as my tricep stays on the wall, we're good.
That's it, yep.
So
now take the band wider apart. Good. Now I want you to think about looking towards a wall behind you.
cut that, don't put it in. But that's actually quite difficult.
Good, now really squeeze against it. Good, rotate.
Gotta get 2-second hold as well, eh?
Let's go. Good, now hold it there. Now turn the thumb up. Good, pull that shoulder back, let's go. Good, fuck, you are tight. So I work with a few guys online. Some of the bigger names that I'm working with at the moment is Isaac Michelle and William Tackett. At the moment, they're based in Austin, Texas.
Isaac is just,
he's a freak.
Next level.
Yeah.
Explain to me why someone would do a Zurcher over a traditional squat.
Your elbows are in close, right? These are the framework. You want to keep your elbows in so no one can get the underhooks and things like that. The Zurcher squat can mimic that pattern and challenge that position and build strength there. So that's why we opt for the Zurcher squat.
So if anyone was to see you doing this in the gym, they might think you're mental.
Yeah, well, it's not the most mainstream exercise that you're going to see in a commercial gym. So people will think you're a bit of a Fruit Loop doing it. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. The only thing that some people complain about elbow pain, it's just the way that you rack the bar. So you want to get the bar into the crease of your arms and you want to pull it into your ribs.
What did you say to people if they were complaining about that hurting?
You'd probably just toughen the fuck up a little bit. So from here, I'd rack the bar. I'm going to walk out, take 2 steps, find my squat position.
So your elbows go between your knees?
Yep, to challenge more range. So you come down from here, the bar can rest on your knees, and then you come up. That's if you want to chase more range. If you're a combat athlete or a hobbyist, you want to chase more range.
A lot of people out there like putting clips on the barbell. Are you a clipper?
I'm not a clipper, no.
Yeah, I'm not a clipper either.
I'm a bit lazy like that. I think if you can't balance the bar,
What's the clip gonna do?
what's the fucking, well,
If plates are falling off the bar when you're benching or squatting, you've got bigger issues than having clips on.
pretty much.
Straight into 50 kg, don't you worry, guys.
So what you want to do is you want to hug that bar in, make a fist. Good. Take 2 steps out, find your squat position. Nice. Good. We're going to go for 3 more reps. So we're just working up to a 6 rep.
So different, the movement pattern's completely different. It's like when you go to use leg press in the gym and you realise it's not the usual leg press you use, you do 3 reps, and you're like, fuck, this is too hard.
Yeah, it's a different exercise. It's definitely going to challenge your upper body in a different way that a normal traditional barbell squat would.
So many people out there, let's say you are a wrestler, a grappler, a boxer, a kickboxer, elbows, in what position is this functional? I use the word functional loosely. If you're going to spend 0% of your time here, in grappling, this is the worst position your hands and shoulders could be because you'll get submitted. So it doesn't make sense, almost.
Yeah, I just generally believe that unless you're a power lifter, you don't need to technically back squat. Let's say you're an office worker, right? And you've taken up BJJ and you've just gone into the gym and you smack a barbell on your back and you struggle with thoracic extension and shoulder mobility. The chances of you having a nice looking squat with that bar on your back are very minimal.
What exercise we got next?
We've got plyometrics now. I'm going to teach you how to do a pogo. Right?
What?
It sounds a bit funny, but it's not. So it's not such a sexy exercise, but it does have a great carryover to the mats and also sports performance, especially if you're new to plyometrics. The key points here to execute this exercise is hands on the hips, and you want your knees, you want minimal knee bend, and you want to focus on slapping your foot to the floor and drawing your toes up towards your face when you're off the ground.
So am I trying to dorsiflex?
Correct, that's right. So you're going to go dorsiflex, plantar flex, dorsiflex and plantar flex.
And am I landing on the foot flat?
Yes, so you land flat on the midfoot, not on the heel, on the midfoot, and then you're driving up.
And how much height do I want?
So you want to start low and then build up to it, and you want all the stretch to come from the foot.
So I'm pretty much using my ankles to generate the majority of the force.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Are you being serious now? Or?
I don't know, is that what I'm supposed to do?
No, so what I want you to do is here, hands on the hips, and I just...
Okay, this looks quite like knee intensive.
Yeah.
It's like dancing, I'm not very good at dancing.
Yeah.
So I want
to jump, yeah, less knees, more feet. Fuck me.
5 minutes later.
Let's go. Come on, that's it, that's the one. There we go. Just here, you bring your legs forward slightly and just pulling up.
For years, I've made exercises look easier in front of my clients and then expected them to just do it. This is me tasting that bitter taste of revenge. All right, let's give it a go. I've never in my life done a pull-up on a rope. So from here, you made it seem so easy, just hang your legs in front.
Good. Mate, you did that easy.
2 1 rep maxes, let's go.
Let's go.
Nice. I think I could do better on one of these. Explain to us about
okay. If you do grapple, especially with no gi, you're going to be grabbing people's wrists and ankles and arms and stuff like that. So you want to train your hands as well and train upper body pulling strength.
How important do you think chin-ups are for athletes in your opinion?
I think upper body pulling strength for grapplers is extremely important, and just everyday life as well. Like you use your hands are first point of contact in most situations, so you want to train them directly if you can.
Nothing worse than someone that's got strong hands.
A lot of guys will put their thumb over the bar to think it's easier, but what that does, it just creates more external rotation in the shoulder. What you want to do is you do want to train the thumb directly, so that's going to be the first point where you are going to lose your grip. So you want to have your thumb around the bar. You can always add load to this. You can always add a weight belt and add more load to challenge a position.
Say someone's like, I only got 2 chin-ups in the bag. Is that a bad thing? Should they choose a different exercise?
No, not at all. If you've only got 2 pull-ups, just do 1 pull-up and you can work with a cluster set. A cluster set is you rest 10 seconds in between each rep, and it's better to train the movement than to not train it if you suck at it.
Cool, so let's say we do those 3 exercises together. How many sets would you probably give enough to?
So I'd give him roughly about 4 sets to go through that. Anywhere between 3 and 4 sets.
Me, I've always banged on about 4 sets. I'm like, anything more than 4 sets, you're usually just gonna shave intensity.
Yeah.
And I was saying like, when people first learn about high intensity training, not high intensity interval training, when they realize they can accomplish a lot with one big set, they realize 4 is enough. The people that often do 10 sets of 10, they're just, oh, okay, I can't go too heavy or work too hard because I've got 8 more sets.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a ball squeeze against the post, creating force and tension against an immovable object. I can't move this post, but I'm gonna try. So from here, I'm gonna get myself in a nice gable grip, would you say? And then from here, I'm going to draw the elbows in together and squeeze the shit out of the ball as hard as I can. And I wanna hold this for about 10 to 15 seconds, squeezing as hard as I can to try and recruit as much muscle fibers into the exercise as possible. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So don't draw the elbows in like you're trying to fucking snaps.
Considering I do more of this in training than I do benching.
Yeah.
So
pretty much. So you might as well train it in a gym, right? Makes sense.
By the way, guys, if you have any questions for Stephen or myself, you can use the comments, and should we need to answer them, I'll make the trip back and we'll answer them.
That's it. Good. Hold 10, 9, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good.
That's quite a nice one.
Yeah.
Do you do any finger training?
Yes, indeed.
You look like you're getting ready to go to.
Yes, I was, yeah. So this is one of the key resilience sites, not only from a grappling perspective, but a lot of guys will do wrist work, but they won't train their fingers directly. And your fingers are a big key point for grip strength. We're gonna grab the kettlebell upside down. And the key thing here is we want the fingers to do the work here, right? And it's fairly easy holding a 6 kilo kettlebell in this position, but you can challenge it and do direct arm work at the same time. So you can essentially curl up with a supinated grip and then rotate down into a pronated grip. So you're training almost a bottoms up kettlebell Zottman curl. What this does, it trains the brachyradialis, it trains the wrist and the fingers all in one exercise.
I thought, 6, we'll start with a 6. That's fucking hard, mate.
Let's go, so you externally rotate, come up, and then there you go.
That's actually really hard.
A lot of people suffer with elbow issues because usually majority of the time there's a lot of weakness going on with your hands and imbalances through your wrist and elbow function. So
God damn, I know it now.
Training your arms directly and training your hands directly will help alleviate some of those issues.
I didn't realise how weak my hands were. Already I can feel.
You can feel it working, right?
Yeah.
That's just one simple exercise. We're going to step it up now. We want to add speed and you want to add force, gripping aggressively on the plate.
So that's so much easier.
Yeah.
In my mind.
And what you can do is challenge it. We can use a thicker plate. You don't want to just do something too comfortable. You want to challenge that position. Good grip.
Well, there's a bit of cheating going on that last one.
Yeah. What we're going to progress into now for shoulder health and for grip strength is a single arm hang. So we're just going to hang on the bar. And this is going to challenge the shoulder and the grip at the same time.
I thought you were going to say dead hangs, and that's something that I've actually been working on a little bit. So I was like, this is my time to shine. I've got 30 seconds in the tank. Then he says one arm. This is so much harder than people realise.
What you want to do is try and depress the scap.
Depress?
Yeah, start active. Yep. Man, you're doing that quite easy. So now you can add load to the exercise where you curl up and then press and back down. A little bit more challenging.
So how did you dislocate your shoulder, James?
Curl and press.
Fucking hell, that's difficult.
Nah, it's not
It's not going to be on that left side.
nah. Some of the biggest mistakes I see guys do is train themselves like powerlifters or bodybuilders. If you are a combat athlete, you need to move and rotate. The spine needs to be mobile, the rib cage needs to be mobile, and a lot of guys will sacrifice form for load, thinking it's going to enhance their performance. Guys only training in a sagittal plane. So basically only spending time in up and down exercises such as a squat, a deadlift and a bench. They're not doing any supplementary work to complement the sport. You want to look at it from a movement pattern perspective. We need to train rotation and we need to train different planes of movement. You would do like cable chops, forcing rotation to come from the spine, rotating over the pelvis. A lot more single leg work, so you'd be working on split squats, RDL, single leg RDLs, and a lot of unilateral upper body pushing and pulling exercises.
And I think I'll speak on both of us. The third biggest mistake they make is they don't follow you on socials.
Pretty much. You gotta follow it.
Am I right in saying that's your first proper YouTube video?
This is my first proper YouTube video.
Guys, let us know how you thought he did. Any questions, comments, anything you need, get us in the comments. Thank you very much for today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.